Hey there guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today we're going to talk about EA getting sued. So, there's some interesting parts to this. Well, most of the time I would fully agree with and support EA getting sued because I think EA is a terrible company with terrible public presence, and all they really want to do is milk you dry. EA is the worst company when it comes to loot boxes or in any way how they feel about their consumer. And while I absolutely despise when a company tries to get squirrely and decides to try to slip a digit up my backside just to see how overall public opinion about something's going to be, like loot boxes in Battlefront 2, where it's an online competitive shooter, but you can get better if you're willing to pay money. We'll give you buffs that everyone else won't have if you're willing to drop some cold hard cash. But that's not what they're getting sued over. Nor do I like EA for the fact that they've ruined how many different game studios that I absolutely love. I am a huge fan of BioWare, and obviously BioWare's quality has gone down a little bit since being obtained by EA. Not in the mainline, but if you look at like Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 2, great games. Mass Effect 2 was done by EA. Mass Effect 3, the ending was a bit ho-hum. If you dislike the ending, I can understand why. And I don't really feel that the ending destroys the entire franchise, but if you look at Andromeda and the way the team was mismanaged and how their biggest game franchise they put their B team on, that's pretty shocking. But none of that is relevant to this lawsuit. EA is getting sued over the Jacksonville shooting. Yeah, so I may not actually 100% agree with this particular incident. EA is being sued because that is the American way these days. You sue whoever you can, for whatever reason you can, because the tournament didn't have enough security and the people that hosted the tournament broke certain laws with fire regulation, and the fire marshal was stating that certain things were unsafe. Now, granted, I want to point out a couple of things. Supposedly there were consoles blocking a fire exit. This was in a pizzeria, I guess. Chicago Pizza, Florida Jacksonville landing. I really don't think that fire exit would have really changed much in what happened and what went down. Granted, I agree, yes, a fire exit shouldn't have been blocked. However, does that then fall on EA for that particular fire exit? No, it falls more on the people that hosted the event, which they are being sued as well. I will say this, EA did donate $1 million to the families to help with funeral costs and everything like that. So I wouldn't really say EA is terribly in the wrong here. I'm sure EA had very little to do with the overall tournament itself. Probably never even actually saw the actual location. With that being said, it does fall more on the location owner. The location owner was then violating laws and making things unsafe for a group of people, or even the mall overall that it's in, where they didn't have security in that mall. So even if you want to be mad at the Chicago Pizza, this isn't a mall that is a gun-free zone. It is their specific rules of that particular facility. So if you want to get mad at Chicago Pizza, you can get mad at them for breaking these fire laws. If you want to be mad over the security incident, and you want to be mad that there weren't armed guards at this tournament, which, let's be fair, there's not really a lot of video game tournaments with shootings, then that would fall more onto the actual property management. So when I worked at GameStop and we did midnight releases, I wasn't allowed to recruit or hire extra security. I just had to notify mall security, and they provided what they felt was adequate security for said event. there were some times that became a problem because mall security kind of sucks. But that's kind of the stipulation you run into here. This is how it works to rent a location from someone. You have to follow their laws and their guidelines. Again, while I would be super excited to see EA get sued, I would rather see them get sued for the correct reasons. And trust me, there are plenty of reasons that I'm sure EA could have gotten sued because, well, GameStop's lost plenty of lawsuits. Something we'll be talking about soon. And most of them are for, well, shitty business practices and screwing over the consumer. Because of course they are. It's GameStop. But with that being said, I don't really see how EA is held fully liable here, and I think it was smart of the lawyer to at least include the pizzeria, but honestly I probably would have done the pizzeria and the property owner, because I'm going to go ahead and assume if they're in a mall, that Chicago pizza place probably doesn't own that facility. That facility and that property is managed by another company. So again, for an example, where I currently work, we rent the building that we use. We are in a very major strip mall. It is, no one there owns anything. None of them own their buildings. If someone were to break their leg in that shopping center, and it wasn't something that was directly negligent of me in my store, and let's say it was the sidewalk had a bump in it, that would fall more onto the property management. Even the property management typically would employ security if there were some reason to believe there was a security risk. Some companies will call and reach out to the police if they feel it's going to be a big enough event, but you can't make the police come to an event. That's kind of at their own discretion. So it is really hard to say where this blame should be pitted, but oh man, I really don't like saying EA is innocent. EA isn't as responsible as other parties in this particular mess. And for this particular thing with the Madden stuff, I really can't say that EA should be held responsible for this particular action that happened. Now granted, this was a Madden qualifier, so this was a sanctioned Madden tournament. But again, if a company's going, we'll host this event, it's on that company to then make sure that security and everything is on par and where it needs to be for that event. I don't necessarily agree with pitting blame where the blame really shouldn't be, and it falls on a lot of different things. The Chicago Pizza probably really wanted that revenue and that group of people in there for that tournament. It probably generates a pretty good buzz for them. It is what it is though. I don't really see how EA is going to be held responsible in this one, and I really don't see that holding in a court of law. But I'll probably keep an eye on the lawsuit overall, because you know it's EA, so you kind of always hope that they get screwed to some degree. But guys, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. Do you feel EA should be held responsible in this particular incident? Do you feel that EA should have managed the security and EA should have further managed the event? Or do you feel this falls on the people who actually hosted the event? Is this their problem? Is this their causing that created this particular situation and the unsafe circumstances that happened, such as a jackass with a gun? So, let me know in the comments down below where you guys sit on this. Because I don't have a right or wrong answer. Like I don't see it that way, but I'm willing to see why you would think they would. So, also if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. Obviously that helps me here on the channel. Sorry, my sinuses are still pretty terrible. Also, If you really like the videos, you can click that subscribe button. Just ding that little bell, and then it'll let you know every time I upload new content. So stick around, guys. I'm gonna have plenty more content coming for you, and I'll see you soon.